Have you ever felt like there's a part of you that you've never fully understood, like something deep inside is trying to speak, but you don't know how to listen? If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. Many of us go through life checking all the boxes, career, relationships, responsibilities, but still feel this quiet emptiness we can't explain. And the truth is that feeling may not be a problem. It might be a signal. Psychologist Carl Jung believed that each of us carries a hidden side, a part of our personality that we've buried over time. He called it the shadow self. It's made up of the feelings we suppress, the truths we avoid, and the parts of ourselves we were taught not to show. Not because they're bad, but because the world convinced us they weren't acceptable. Think back to childhood. Were you ever told, don't be so sensitive, or stop being angry, or just be nice? What if in those moments you weren't being too much, you were just being you? The shadow isn't evil, it's just unknown. And Jung believed that when we ignore it, we lose touch with who we really are. But when we learn to face it, listen to it, and integrate it, we unlock a deeper version of ourselves, more authentic, more powerful, more whole. This video isn't about fixing yourself. It's about meeting the parts of you you've hidden away and understanding why they matter. If you're in your late 20s, 40s, or even 60s, chances are you've faced moments where life forced you to pause and ask, who am I really? Carl Jung offers more than just psychology. He offers a roadmap back to the self you've been searching for. So in today's journey, we're diving deep into Jung's most powerful insights, the kind that don't just make sense, they make you stop and feel. Because real transformation doesn't happen when you pretend everything's okay. It begins when you finally say, I'm ready to know myself, ready to explore the part of you that's been waiting to be seen. Let's unlock your hidden self with Carl Jung's timeless wisdom. You and I carry a secret backpack everywhere we go, stuffed not with gear, but with feelings we've pushed out of sight. Carl Jung called this hidden cargo the shadow self. In simple terms, it's every trait, impulse, and memory we decided was unacceptable, packed away in the basement of the mind. Think back to a moment you snapped at a coworker, felt a flash of envy scrolling through social media, or blushed in shame, remembering an old mistake. Those emotions didn't vanish. They slipped quietly into the shadow. Jung warned us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Let that sink in. If we refuse to open the backpack, its contents still shape our choices, only now we're flying blind. Ever wondered why certain arguments feel like reruns, why you sabotage a relationship just when it gets real, or why success sometimes triggers guilt instead of joy? The shadow may be scripting those chapters. Let's break it down with everyday examples. Anger. Maybe you were taught nice people don't get mad, so anger gets banished. Years later, it leaks out as passive-aggressive comments or sudden explosions that surprise even you. Jealousy. You scroll past someone's win, feel a twinge, and immediately shame yourself. I shouldn't be jealous. Now that envy hides underground, only to poison your motivation or dampen friendships. Shame. A memory of failure from college still whispers, you're not good enough. You bury it, but it shows up as procrastination every time a new opportunity appears. Notice the pattern. The more we deny these feelings, the louder they steer the wheel. Jung didn't see the shadow as a monster to slay. He saw it as raw, untapped energy fuel we could transform once we dared to face it. Here's a quick mental exercise. Picture a recent moment that sparked outsized emotion, maybe a trivial comment that ruined your day. Instead of dismissing that reaction, ask, what did that feeling want me to know? Sometimes your anger says, your boundaries were crossed. Jealousy might whisper, you desire growth in that area too. Shame could point to an outdated story begging for an update. When you translate emotions into information, the shadow shifts from saboteur to teacher. I'll share a personal snapshot. A few years ago, I kept turning down speaking gigs claiming I was too busy. Truth, I was terrified of looking foolish on stage, an old high school memory running the show. The day I wrote that fear down and felt it sting, something flipped. Owning the embarrassment robbed it of power. The next month, I stepped on stage knees, shaking, heart racing, and delivered a talk that changed my career. That's the shadow integrated rather than ignored. If you're watching this, chances are you've weathered a few storms, career pivots, breakups, maybe even a midlife reset. You already know that surface level fixes rarely stick. The people who thrive after crisis are the ones willing to sit with uncomfortable truths, mine them for wisdom, and weave them back into a stronger self. That's not woo-woo, it's psychological housekeeping. So here's my challenge as we move forward. Keep a shadow journal for the next 7 days. Jot down any spike of anger, envy, or embarrassment. No filter, no judgment. At the end of the week, read the list and ask, what patterns do I see? What unmet needs are hiding here? This simple practice turns the unconscious into conscious text. And remember, awareness is step 1 to change. Have you ever looked around at your life and thought, I have so much, so why do I still feel empty? You've achieved things you once dreamed about. Maybe it's the job, the house, the family. From the outside, it looks like everything's in place, but inside there's a quiet ache, a sense that something's missing, like you're living someone else's life or only showing up as half of who you are. Carl Jung would say that this is one of the clearest signs that you're disconnected from your true self, and it's not your fault. Most of us were taught to fit in, to succeed, to be who the world expects us to be, not who we really are. Let's explore 3 powerful signs that your inner self, what Jung called your authentic self, has been buried beneath roles, routines, and survival mode. 1. You feel empty even when life looks full. This one hits hard. You've ticked the boxes, you've got responsibilities, maybe even recognition, but there's no spark. You go through the motions, and when the day ends, you're drained, not because you're doing too much, but because you're not doing what truly aligns with you, that emptiness. Jung believed it's your soul's way of asking for deeper meaning. It's not depression, it's disconnection. Your shadow, the hidden part of you that holds your suppressed dreams, passions, even anger is knocking at the door, trying to get your attention. Ask yourself, what part of me have I ignored in order to feel accepted? 2. You keep repeating the same pain in relationships. Different names, different faces, but the same emotional wounds. You find yourself stuck in cycles of betrayal, neglect, or feeling misunderstood. And after a while, you start to wonder, is it me? According to Jung, when we don't integrate our unconscious patterns, we unconsciously seek them out in others. We attract situations that reflect the very wounds we haven't healed yet. Not because we're broken, but because our psyche is trying to resolve what's unfinished. If your relationships feel like deja vu, it might be your shadow reenacting old pain in an attempt to finally process it. That's not a curse, it's an invitation. 3, you're your own harshest critic. Let's be honest, most of us are way kinder to strangers than we are to ourselves. That inner voice, the one that says, you're not good enough, or you should have known better, that's not the voice of truth. That's the voice of your shadow. Jung taught that self-judgment is often a sign of disowned parts of the self. Maybe you were taught to be tough, so your sensitive side got buried. Now every time it surfaces, your mind attacks it. Or maybe you were praised only when you achieved something, so now when you rest, guilt kicks in. Sound familiar? But here's the twist. What you judge the most in yourself is often where your greatest gifts are hiding. Let me pause here and offer you something important. None of these signs mean you're broken. In fact, they mean you're ready. Ready to bring awareness to what's been hiding. Ready to stop running. Ready to come home to yourself. Jung didn't promise quick fixes. He offered something more powerful, the path of integration, the courage to look at your shadow and instead of rejecting it, inviting it back into the light. If any of these signs hit close to home, you're not alone and you're not behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be, at the start of something deeper. In the next part, we'll explore 5 life-changing insights from Carl Jung that will help you reconnect with your true self and finally stop living on autopilot. But first, take a breath. Reflect. Which of these 3 signs feels most true for you right now? Let me know in the comments. I read everyone. Let's keep going. The journey inward is just beginning. So how do we actually begin the journey back to our true self? Carl Jung didn't offer surface-level tips or trendy self-help quotes. What he gave us were deep, transformative truths, the kind that require courage, but that unlock a life of real alignment. If you've ever felt like you're living behind a mask or only scratching the surface of who you truly are, these 5 lessons may just shift everything. 1. Listen to your inner voice. Stop running from emotion. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat quietly with your own emotions, not to analyze them, not to fix them, but just to feel them? We live in a world that teaches us to distract ourselves the moment discomfort arises. But Jung believed that every emotion, even the painful ones, is a messenger. When you feel sadness, it might be asking you to slow down. When anxiety shows up, it could be signaling a boundary being crossed. The key: stop running. Start listening. Your inner voice isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to guide you home. 2. Look directly at anger, jealousy, and grief without judgment. Here's the truth. Most people avoid the emotions you label as bad are often the gateway to your greatest healing. Anger, it might be protecting a deep sense of betrayal. Jealousy, it might be highlighting a dream you've buried. Grief, it may be the sign that something deeply meaningful needs to be honored, not hidden. Jung taught us that these emotions are not flaws. They are fragments of ourselves calling to be acknowledged. And when we approach them with curiosity instead of shame, we begin to reclaim the parts of us we've lost. Ask yourself, what would change if I stopped judging how I feel and started learning from it? 3. No one is coming to save you. And that's liberating. This one hits hard. You are the only one who can do your inner work. At first, that may sound overwhelming. We're so used to looking outside for validation answers or someone to fix it all. But Jung reminds us that true healing isn't handed to us. It's earned through self-honesty and reflection. And here's the flip side of that truth: if no one else is responsible for saving you, then no one else gets to define you either. That's freedom. 4. Your true self is found in the union of light and dark. We often think of our best self as the version of us that's always kind, calm, patient, productive. But Jung challenged that idea. He believed your true self is not just your light, it's the integration of both your light and your shadow. Think of it this way: a tree can only grow as tall as its roots go deep. If you deny the darker parts of your story, you limit how high your growth can reach. Real wholeness comes when we say, yes, I've been hurt and I've also healed. Yes, I have flaws and I also have wisdom. That's not weakness, that's truth. 5. Healing is not about getting rid of the darkness. It's about making peace with it. Here's the most important lesson of all: you don't need to eliminate your past to grow. You need to reconcile with it. So many of us try to move on by pretending something didn't happen. But Jung believed that healing begins the moment we stop trying to erase our pain and start integrating it into our story. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be whole. If you look at the lives of people like Robin Williams or Anthony Bourdain, you'll see brilliant minds who inspired millions, yet privately battled inner demons. Their stories are powerful reminders that success and suffering often coexist. And unless we face what's inside, even the most beautiful lives can feel unbearable. Let me leave you with this. Healing is not a destination. It's a relationship with yourself. One built on truth, compassion, and courage. So I ask you, which of these lessons do you need to hear most today? Let me know in the comments and stay with me, because up next, we'll explore how to apply these insights to your daily life step by step. So let's take a moment to breathe together. Because what you've just explored, these teachings from Carl Jung, aren't just psychological concepts. They're not quick fix advice or another trendy self-help method. What Jung gave us was something far more valuable, a map. A map back to your true self, the version of you that exists beneath the layers of fear, expectation, and societal roles. The you that's been there all along, quietly waiting to be seen. You see, Jung never claimed to fix people. Instead, he invited us into a lifelong conversation with our soul. He challenged us to face the parts of ourselves we've rejected, not to get rid of them, but to integrate them, to make peace with our pain, understand our emotions, and own our full story. Because here's the truth. We all have a shadow, not because we're broken, but because we're human. And the more we deny it, the more it controls us from the background. But the moment we shine light on it, something powerful happens. We stop living on autopilot. We stop chasing versions of success that don't fulfill us. We stop wearing masks just to feel loved. Instead, we begin to live from a place of authenticity, depth, meaning. So I want to ask you directly, no fluff, no filters. Are you ready to face your shadow? Are you ready to stop running from the uncomfortable parts of yourself and start listening to what they're really trying to say? If this video stirred something inside you, an emotion, a memory, a quiet knowing, don't ignore it. That's your inner self knocking. And now, you have the tools to begin the conversation. In fact, if you want to take this journey deeper, I highly recommend watching our next video, Carl Jung's Shadow Theory Explained. It's a clear and powerful breakdown of how the shadow is formed and exactly how to begin working with it in your own life. You don't want to miss it. And if you've made it this far, that tells me something about you. You're not here by accident. You're someone who's ready for more than surface level living. You're someone who's searching for clarity, depth, and a kind of self-truth that no one else can give you. That's rare. That's brave. So if that sounds like you, if you're ready to keep growing, questioning healing, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is a space where we explore not just psychology, but the soul beneath it. It's for the thinkers, the feelers, the seekers. And I promise you this, you are not alone on this path. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Which idea from this video hit you the hardest? Was it the moment about embracing your emotions? The truth about repeating patterns in relationships? Or maybe that powerful idea that no one else can save you but you? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single one, and this community grows stronger when we grow together. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for choosing to look within. And thank you for being brave enough to explore what most people spend their lives avoiding. Your hidden self is not something to be feared. It's something to be remembered.